Hey guys, welcome to the part 42. By the way, if you are wondering where is part 41, it is in the members area, Cloud Kernel. You can click the link in the description, become a Cloud Kernel member. If you have not yet subscribed, do not do so. Do not do so. Wait. There is a layoff list being prepared by a lot of companies. Wait for that till your name appears there, and then you can do that. Okay. So if you are looking for, so if you're searching YouTube for this channel, this is the YouTube handle, Cloud Guru Ninja. What can you find on this channel? We are totally dedicated to help you clear cloud certifications, AWS, Azure, GCP, Snowflake, and Tableau BI certifications. There are 500 plus videos. There are 3000 plus certification questions. Loads of people, tons of people have passed the certifications using these contents and these concepts. Let us jump into the questions. I hope you have visited part 41 in the Cloud Kernel member area. See, the pain point here is you have to reduce the storage cost. You are paying way too much for storage. You want to reduce that. Why? See, you have too much of data. You see here, you are keeping the data for at least 25 years. You are a maniac, man. Your company is a maniac. You are keeping the data for 25 years. And who does that? Probably a lot of banks, because they have to go through scrutiny and audits. Because while the banks operate, they all are sleeping, and when the bank fails, they say, hey, let's go back to the 10 years data or 20-year back and then see why we failed. So if your data is in the first 2 years, then you need immediate access, highly available. Okay, but if it is beyond 2 years, it can be put in the archive up to 25 years. Now, which option would suffice? The first one says we will set the lifecycle policy to transition to deep glacier archive immediately. So this guy is telling, boss, put everything in deep archive. Boss, if you do that, none of your data, even the first 2 years of worth of data, will not be highly available. So this will not work. B says you set up the policy, transition objects to glacier. Transition from where? You are already on S3 standard. From there, you set up a lifecycle policy to transition to archive. See, whenever we are talking about 25 years storage, we have to archive. So after 2 years, you move there. First 2 years, you let it keep on, let it exist on S3 standard. Now C is telling use intelligent tiering. Will this work? It can still work. The problem here is intelligent tiering is costly. Why you use intelligent tiering? There are multiple tiers from S3 you want to put to infrequent access to some other layers, and then you have to put to archive. If you have 2-3 layers in between, then you use that. But in this question, you don't have such scenarios, and that is why C is wrong. And I made a mistake here. B, I've put a cross sign. This is correct. Like I told, because this has to be done in archive, this is correct. And D says you set up a S3 policy to transition to frequent zone immediately. But if you do that, you see one zone means only on one AZ. Then it will not be highly available. If that AZ earthquake happens, that AZ is gone, your data is gone. It will not be highly available. So hence, B seems to be a better option out of all these four ones. Let us look at one more question. So this is a question. Okay. Focus on what we are trying to explain here. You have EC2 instances, you have RDS, and what we are saying is they should not be exposed to public internet. Okay, then what will happen if you do not want it to be exposed to public internet? Ranveer Singh and Deepika Padukone, they do not want to be exposed to public internet. Then Ranveer Singh should stop posing nude. It is a private affair. So we should put it in a private subnet. So A is telling use autoscaling group to launch EC2 instances in private subnet. Deploy this database also in private subnet. So this is perfectly correct. But we have to choose two answers. What will decide the second answer is the application must be highly available. When we say it should be highly available, and that means if you see this, configure VPC with one subnet, it will not be highly available. One fails, it is gone. Instead of one Amitabh Bachchan, you need two Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, two Amitabh Bachchan equals to one Rajnikant. But let's not go in the Rajnikant world. Let's think about normal human beings. If you just have one thing, it goes for a toss. For example, kidney, people have two. One goes away, the other can still work. But liver, you have only one. Heart, you have only one. So you are not highly scalable in terms of liver and heart. In kidney, you are. Option D is wrong. Option C. Option C says you use auto scaling group to launch EC2 instances in public subnets. The moment you launch EC2 in public subnets, you are not adhering to this requirement, and that is why C is wrong. And then B says you configure two private subnets, two NAT gateways, two AZs. Deploy load balancer in private subnet. See the load balancer, the load balancer is going to talk to the outside world. Why it is going to talk to the outside world? Because the question says you will need to access internet to complete payment processing. You cannot be locked in a room. You need to come out sometime. Why? To eat food, to shit, maybe various reasons. So how it works is load balancer faces the public. Similarly, like Ranveer Singh, his secretary faces the public. Ranveer Singh does not face the public. He does not pick the phone calls. His secretary picks the phone calls. Similarly, load balancer is like a secretary of Ranveer Singh. Load balancer will face the internet and then it will decide whether it should pass it on to EC2 or not. So that is why D is correct, because see everything it has two livers, two kidneys, two hearts. So here two public subnet, two private subnet, two NAT gateways, two AZs, perfectly fine. So it is highly available now. Why? See, you see this is highly available, and then you deploy load balancer in the public subnet so that it can still have some interface with the outside world. So this is my final answer. I hope you understood the concept, how we try to decode and arrive at the right answer. Let us look at this next question. See, in this question, it is very simple. You want to choose a particular type of instance. Which one we should choose? How to decide? See, simple thing. It is saying a job typically takes 60 minutes total to complete. The company needs scalable, cost-effective solution. Okay, the job is stateless in nature, can be started and stopped at even any given time with no impact. That means they are flexible. The moment you are flexible, what we should do, the moment you see a software programmer in your team and he or she is flexible, what do you do as a project manager? Instead of giving him work for one person, let us give work for 2% because he's too flexible. Okay, let's exploit him, man. Because why? Because you work for Indian IT services company. That's the way you should operate. The moment I think about exploiting, I think about spot instances. Why? Because you bid it, you are working on something, you are in the middle of something else. You're working in the middle of some cool stuff, and somebody else bids higher than you and takes away the instance. So you are reminded about your financial status every day, every minute, every hour. Okay, that keeps you on the ground and you keep working. That is how spot instances work, man. But here it will work because it is most cost effective, because you want to save money. That is how poor people live. That is how with spot instances people live. Okay, so this is correct, and this is the cheapest option. Reserve instances is like, you know what, you are born as a son of Shah Rukh Khan. You everything is reserved for you, man. You are Rahul Gandhi, everything is reserved for you, man. So this will not work here because it is not cost effective. It is the most expensive option. And then it's not the most expensive, but it is expensive. Then you have on demand instances. These are very expensive. See, with reserve instances, what happens is you have to give a commitment of 1 to 3 years. Okay, then only you will get it. But D says implement the processing on AWS Lambda. Implement the processing on AWS Lambda means Lambda is a 2 rupees person. It will fit anywhere, everywhere, but it cannot be put on a job which is more than 15 minutes because it auto kills itself after 15 minutes. Point number one. Second, Lambda is serverless. It can do the job, but here you're seeing the question says it takes 60 minutes. Lambda will die in 15 minutes, so you can never finish your job. Okay, so this is your final answer. So if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Do not wait for a more better time. If you are consulting any astrologer that what is the best time to start the cloud journey, it is now, this hour, this minute, this second. Stay tuned, stay focused. We have also uploaded part 41 in the cloud kernel members area. Click the link in the description to become a cloud kernel member for a very small premium. You gain access to so many different important questions. If you want, hear me carefully, if you want to clear certification, you will have to go through free as well as paid content. Stay tuned, stay focused. See you in the next part.